All right, friends, so I've had a lot of requests to do an organizational video, and this one is going to specialize in my spare room where I am transforming it into a little playroom for my daughter. Now, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, this video in particular, I'm going to show you exactly how I organize things. And so this doesn't have to just be for toys if you don't have kids. This is going to give you some tips and tricks of how to organize literally anything in your home. All right, so to give you a bit of a backstory, my brother lived with us for a while. He lived actually in this room, our spare room, for a while, and he recently, within the last 4 to 6 months, has moved out. And so I am taking this room back over and I'm turning it into a guest room / a work and play room for myself and my daughter. The reason I'm doing this is because I feel like my daughter always sleeps a lot better, just like I do, when there's less in her room. So what I'm gonna do first, and what I would recommend you to do first, is to take out what you have. It's a good way to survey how many things you have. Now, in particular, these are not my toys, and right now my daughter is at school. So what I'm gonna do is things that don't belong particularly to me, I'm gonna take them all out and I'm gonna organize the things that I know she uses all the time. And then because my daughter is only 6, I'm gonna put her extra toys or things that she doesn't play with very often downstairs. And why I do that is because, one, she likes to keep it that way. It's easier for her to keep it that way. And she feels comfortable that those other toys are somewhere else. They're not just gone. And eventually we do go downstairs and we declutter them as time goes on and she's ready to do that. So I'm gonna take everything out. I'm gonna put it on this bed and let's start organizing by categories. This being said, because this is a video where I am literally just doing this with you as we go, you are gonna see that maybe I don't always have the right bins, or maybe I just have to compromise. I'm gonna go through really quickly. I'm gonna take out things that actually belong to other people. There are several things that belong to my mom in this pile. And then after I've done the decluttering, after I've taken out what I think is the excess, then and only then am I gonna start figuring out how I'm going to organize these items. The more you can put like categories together, the more often you're gonna be able to find the items that you're actually looking for when you need them, as opposed to just crazily searching around your house like I used to do all the time. All right, so not to get ahead of myself, but once I figured out the categories and the containers that I wanna put things in, I recommend labeling your things. I'm gonna link the label maker that I actually use myself down below. But if you're enjoying learning about decluttering and organizing and minimizing, then please hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you're going through an organizational journey like I am, then please put a heart emoji down below. So let's get into decluttering some of this and figuring out where I'm going to put everything. The things over here, I know she plays with very often, so I'm not going to move any of these things. I'm going to simply organize them, put them where they belong. And then now let's go through her craft stuff real quick, which is her favorite things. And then there's a few things like Lego bins and some Bluey stuff that I'm going to go through real quick also. So in the craft stuff is probably where I'm going to find the most trash. But my daughter is a huge crafter, which I absolutely love. She has a massive home right now in the other room where she's made it all out of boxes. And so really, when that is her main form of entertainment, is making her own things, she just doesn't need that many toys. She doesn't crave that many toys, but she does love her stuffies, and she likes playing with Legos and building. She's very much a craft and engineer kind of person. All right. So this is basically just the paper bin. This bucket right here are things like stickers, sticker books. So I'm going to try and put these all together in one pile. So now let me walk you through the process of figuring out how I want things to be put away, how I want them to be organized. And I only have the baskets that I will show you right behind me that I've had for a little while now, and I'm gonna use those baskets. What I do always recommend is don't run out, don't go grab a bunch of baskets, because a lot of times it just ends up being clutter. You buy too many, or you don't buy the right kind of baskets that you need. And then I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna be labeling them and putting them away in the closet behind me. Clear your space out. If you've decluttered a bunch of stuff, then get rid of it. You don't have to go take it down to the Goodwill yet, but I want you to take it out of that room so you can clear up your space and you don't have to think about that stuff right at this moment. Okay, so now that I have a little more floor space, I am going to be taking these fort building pieces that my daughter has and taking them out of the box. It's in this small box. It always is such a hassle putting everything away when she's done playing with it. And I have this basket right here, and we're gonna see if we can make this one work. When you are organizing things and you have, say, a basket already in your house, if it's not exactly perfect, live with it for a little while. See if it's fine. Yes, the pieces are a little bit too big for this box, but what I will say is that this is going to be a heck of a lot easier to clean up for her than it would be having to stuff everything back into the actual box that it came in. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, and I'm gonna set this aside and I'm gonna head on to the next biggest area that I feel like bothers me the most. All right, so I went in her room and grabbed the rest of her stuffed animals. There are two more big ones that just end up staying on her bed all the time, but these guys tend to travel with us, but mostly stay on her bed. That's why they weren't in here. But I thought for the sake of the video, I didn't want you guys to think that my child only had 2 stuffed animals, because that wouldn't be the truth. We are going to figure out what to do with all of these little stuffed animal guys, and I have a feeling that I'm gonna go back to the basket that they were in, but I'm gonna take all of the smaller things like the food bowls and some of the accessories and put those somewhere else, because I feel like when all the accessories are in there, they end up going to the bottom, and then we all get frustrated looking for those kind of things. So this basket is not something I'm gonna end up labeling, but this is where her stuffed animals have always been. The accessories though, if I can find a good basket, I will go ahead and label that just so she knows exactly where those go. When it comes to smaller stuffed animals, I know they can easily get out of control. That can apply to anything that we have in our house. If there is something that we particularly really love, we can become people that just collect and keep an extraordinary amount. But it's kind of like anything else. When you have too many of something, nothing is special. As I've said with everything else in my life, it has to have a home, and this is its home. It has to be able to fit in its home. And I do feel like this large basket is sufficient for what we need when it comes to stuffed animals. Creating a home is one of the most important things in order to organize and stay organized, but also to give yourself some limits so that you don't feel like you are always overbuying and overbringing things into your house, because you know if your basket is full, you do not need any more. For all these extra pieces like dog food and things like that, I'm gonna go ahead and put them in this container and see if they fit. So this is an old bookcase that I had downstairs for a while, and then I had it in here for a while with nothing on it. So I put it in this old yucky closet that I need to paint eventually. And then this actually is another rack I've had for a long time. It was downstairs but wasn't really being used, so I went and moved it in here, and we'll just see how much actual storage and shelving I need. But I moved these in so I didn't have to go ahead and put in real shelves yet. All right, so I know things aren't perfect yet, but I'm going to start putting things in just so I can see how we're going to fit everything. The stuff that's up here is either trash or it needs to go back to my mom's house. And so I'm not going to worry about that stuff, but all this stuff needs to fit in. And then I have a few random pieces, and then the Legos need to go in, and this needs to go outside. That goes with Legos. That's an extra little bin. And then that just needs to be hung up. So we're getting there. It feels good. I think as you are decluttering and going through this process, there is no perfect way to do anything. But sometimes once I get most of the way done, I just want to see if things are actually fitting in the way that I want them to, and then do the little bit of excess over here and over here when I have everything else in. So unfortunately, there's no light in here, so it's hard to see, but this is what I've come up with and decided so far. Obviously, all of the boxes don't match, and that's perfectly fine. Use what you have and be resourceful. But at the bottom, I have all the animal stuff. In the middle, I have all her craft stuff. So these two shelves are by far going to be her absolute favorites, and that's why I put them down low. They're easy for her to see into each basket, and they're easier for her to reach and get down herself without any help. And then up here, I have her building supplies. This is like electrical or outside kind of stuff up here. And then this is some of her dress up stuff in this basket I found. And then over here on the side, I just made the Lego area for when she wants to pull out all of her Lego stuff. All right, friends, while this is far from perfect and all the labeling didn't come out just the way I wanted, it's okay. What I wanted to show you is that organization used to be so stressful for me, and now it really isn't that bad. Even with things that I don't necessarily love organizing, like my child's toys, it's not that bad. Get lower inventory. The lower the inventory, the easier, of course, it's going to be to organize, but don't worry about always having to have the perfect container or the perfect box to fit the toys in. Just find something that you happen to have around your house. If I didn't have these, you could easily use a cardboard box if you have a low budget that you want to spend on organizing. But another key thing that I wanted to say before you guys go is that I would create drawers inside of the baskets if you have a lot of little things. Like I showed you before with the little pieces of food that I have for her dolls, I put those in another smaller container inside of the bigger container. It makes it all look a lot better, and it's a lot easier for my daughter to put away. So if you are thinking about decluttering maybe your bathroom closet, this would be a great way to organize your bathroom closet is by creating drawers inside of the baskets that you put things in. It's easier for you to find your things. They don't get lost in the background, and they also don't get so disorganized inside of a big basket. All right, friends, I hope that was helpful. I am tired. When you are organizing, I feel like the hardest part is just not giving up. Once you have everything taken out, if you're doing a big organizational day like I am, don't give up. Just keep going. Turn the music on and have a little bit of fun, because you know at the end, it's going to feel so much better. It's going to look so much better, and it's going to function a lot better for you. All right, friends, if you've enjoyed learning about decluttering and minimizing your home, living a simpler life, then please hit that subscribe button and join me for my next video. There's always 2 coming out every week, so there's lots to see. All right, I'll see you guys again soon.